All right, everyone, welcome back for another deep dive with us today.
Yeah.
And today we're delving into the world of high security locks.
Serious security.
Yeah, with the ADI Lockbolt 5004.
That's right. Day 5004.
We've got a really interesting mix of sources for this one.
Yeah, good mix today.
We've got the product specs from Complete Security Solutions, LSC Security Supplies in Australia.
Okay.
We've got a YouTube video breakdown by the one and only Dr. Lock.
Hands on.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got a blog post from the Lock Mob, a locksmith in Brisbane, Australia.
Good to get the locksmith perspective
Yeah, free
on the
love.
ground.
Yeah, so by the end of this deep dive, you'll know what makes the ADI 5004 tick.
Hmm.
You'll know if it lives up to the hype, and you'll know if it's the right lock for your needs.
Indeed.
So let's start by digging into those product specs.
All right, let's do it.
What jumped out at you?
Well, one of the first things I noticed, just right off the bat, is that it's Australian made. Made in Australia. You don't see that every day.
That's true, especially with security products, you know. It does make you wonder, is there a difference?
It does. It makes you think, we're talking like higher quality control or something. Are Australian locks built differently?
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, it's definitely a point of pride for the manufacturer. They emphasize it. Like, they want you to know it's locally made. And looking at these specs, you can see why they might be proud. It says heavy duty right here, and I'm looking at the dimensions. This thing is a beast.
Yeah, it's not messing around. It's 45 by 155 millimeters in body size.
What, an 8-inch hardened steel bolt? I mean, come
Yeah.
on.
8 inches. Okay, that's not your average deadbolt. What is it, like double the size?
Oh, at least. We're talking way more substantial than your average deadbolt, that's for sure.
Yeah.
This is serious stuff. And the throat, that's the distance the bolt extends from the lock. It's huge with that 8-inch bolt. This thing is designed to withstand some serious force. It's like, bring it on.
Yeah, this is not your garden shed lock.
No, definitely not.
It even says here, suitable for aluminum or timber applications.
Right.
Does that matter? Like, what does that even mean?
It definitely matters. It means they've designed it specifically for those materials, for securing those types of doors. Sturdy doors, the
Yeah.
kind you'd find on a shop or a warehouse, maybe even a hotel. They also mention garages, which is interesting, right?
Yeah.
Seems like they're covering their bases.
Yeah, it's not just for your front door, then.
No, it's for when you've got, like, real concerns about security.
Not someone just trying to jimmy the lock with a credit card.
Exactly. We're talking serious attempts at forced entry here.
So we've got the specs, but what does it look like in action? Let's head over to Dr. Locke's workshop.
Oh, yeah, Dr. Locke, he's the best.
He's got that great YouTube channel where he, really gets his hands dirty.
hands-on.
He's got that great Aussie accent. Anyway, what does Dr. Locke have to say about the ADI 5004?
He calls it a beast, too, which says a lot, I think.
Yeah.
But what I found super valuable was his insights on installation.
Yeah, he shows you how to actually install it.
Yeah, he shows you both ways. The rear fixing method, so that's where the bolts are visible from the outside, for that real heavy-duty look.
I don't even try it.
Exactly. And then he shows you the concealed fixing method. So that's if you want a cleaner look.
So you've got options depending on your style.
You do. But here's the thing he really emphasizes, like really hammers home how important precise drilling is for both methods.
That makes sense.
Yeah, he's really adamant about it. And it's huge, especially if you're a DIYer, right?
Yeah.
Because a poorly installed lock, it doesn't matter how strong the lock is, it's only as strong as the installation.
Right, it's got to be anchored in there.
Exactly.
What else stood out to you about that video?
His demonstration of the bolt mechanism itself,
Ah,
like he gets right in there and shows you how it works, and it's just, wow.
it's so beefy, that's what I noticed.
It's so robust, it's almost over-engineered, which I kind of love.
Yeah, when it comes to security, over-engineered is a good thing.
Absolutely, especially if you're concerned about someone trying to, force their way in.
Exactly. But let's not forget about the lock mob.
Right, the lock mob. The locksmith's perspective.
Yeah, let's hear what they have to say about this beast of a lock.
I'm curious. Well, they call it a game changer on their blog, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Wow, a game changer. That's high praise coming from a locksmith.
Right. Like they've seen it all, so, when they endorse the lock, it makes you pay attention.
Absolutely. So what is it about the ADI 5004 that they like so much?
Well, they really get into those claims of heavy duty and tamper-resistant.
Okay, so they actually back that up.
Yeah, they're not just throwing those terms around lightly. They highlight the deadlocking bolt as a key feature.
Okay, for those of us who aren't locksmiths, what's so special about a deadlocking bolt?
So a deadlocking bolt, it's different from a regular deadbolt because it has this extra mechanism that basically locks the bolt in place when it's fully extended.
Oh, I see. So it can't be pried open as easily.
Exactly. Like even if someone were to apply enough force to like force the bolt back on a regular deadbolt, a deadlocking bolt prevents that.
That's really clever. I never knew that.
Yeah, it's a small detail with a big impact when it comes to security.
So it's not just about the strength of the bolt itself,
Right.
it's how it actually functions.
Exactly.
The lock mob also mentioned the tamper-resistant design. What do they mean by that? Are we talking like special keys or something?
It's not quite James Bond level, but it's still impressive. Basically, it's got all these features that make it really difficult for someone to pick the lock or manipulate it.
Like what kind of features?
We're talking hardened steel components to resist drilling, and the design itself makes it nearly impossible to insert shims or those tools they use to bypass the mechanism.
So it's designed to thwart all those common tricks.
Precisely. It's like they designed this lock with every trick in the burglar's handbook in mind.
Now, they mentioned some real-world examples of how the ADI 5004 has held up.
They did.
Did they go into specifics? Because I'm really curious now.
They did. They talked about this one case. A shop owner installed the ADI 5004 on their back entrance,
Okay.
and someone actually tried to break in.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but they tried to pry the door open using a crowbar, but the lock held strong.
Wow.
They ended up giving up and going elsewhere.
It's not even about just stopping the break-in at that point. It's about the deterrent factor.
Exactly.
They see it's going to be more trouble than it's worth.
Right, they're going to go find an easier target.
Exactly. Did they mention any other cases?
Yeah, they also talked about this homeowner who would use the ADI 5004 on their shed where they kept all their tools and equipment, valuable stuff.
Okay, so higher stakes than just a garden shed.
Right, exactly. And someone tried to break in there by drilling out the lock. But guess what? The hardened steel, it worked. They couldn't get through.
So they weren't messing around either. It sounds like this lock can stand up to some pretty determined attempts.
It definitely can. And you know what I like? It's not just about the individual parts. It's how it all comes together.
Yeah, the sum is greater than the parts.
Exactly. Like a well-designed system, each part is reinforcing the others.
So we've heard from the manufacturer, we've seen Dr. Locke's hands-on take, and now we've got the locksmith's perspective.
Yep.
That's a pretty well-rounded look at this lock, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm.
So much to unpack here. We've gone from, like, deciphering product specs online
Right.
to seeing Dr. Locke install it himself to, like, hearing about these real-life security situations.
Your world examples.
What does it all mean for our listeners who might be, considering this lock?
I think it means, like, this lock, this ADI 5004, it's a statement piece. It's not just a lock. It's like you're making a statement. You're serious about security.
Yeah.
You're not messing around.
Like, don't even try it.
Exactly. Exactly. Good luck. Right. You're going to need it. And you know what else? I think there's something to be said for the peace of mind it offers, right?
For sure.
Like knowing you've got that level of protection, especially for like homeowners, business owners, anyone with like really valuable assets, that's got to be worth something.
It's going to be huge, that peace of mind. Because it's one thing to have to, like, replace things.
Right.
But that feeling of someone, like, violating your space like that.
It's awful. It's the worst.
It's going to mess with you.
It really does. Yeah, it's not just about this stuff. It's that feeling.
Yeah, and that's where I think this lock really shines. It's not just about, stopping a casual thief. It's about, like, that next level, those really determined attempts.
Exactly, yeah. And knowing you're prepared for that, that's huge.
But we're not just saying it's, like, for businesses or,
Fort Knox.
Yeah. The Lock Mob recommended it for homes, too, right?
They did.
Which I thought was interesting.
They did. And I think that says a lot, right?
Yeah.
Because it means it's adaptable. You can have that same, like, heavy-duty security for your house if you want it.
And it's not so complicated that you couldn't install it yourself.
Right.
Especially with Dr. Locke walking us through it.
Yeah. Shout out to Dr. Locke. He makes it look easy.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's not some, like, crazy, complicated system.
And I think, speaking of simplicity, can we just talk about, like, the beauty of a good old-fashioned key?
Yes.
No batteries, no electronics.
No need to remember your code.
No. It just works. And sometimes that's all you want.
Absolutely. Especially when it comes to security. You want simplicity and reliability, and I think this lock really delivers on both.
So there you have it, deep divers. If you are looking for a lock that's built like a tank, that's got like the locksmith seal of approval, And it gives you that extra peace of mind. The ADI 5004 definitely deserves a spot on your short list.
100%.
But this does make you think, right? We've looked at one lock today, but there are so many options out there. It can be overwhelming.
For sure.
So how do you even start to navigate that? What should people be looking for? We can't just rely on brand names and fancy features.
Right.
So listeners, that's something for you to ponder. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and keep those locks secure.